It's the answer spoken by young and old, rich and poor, rich and poor, rich and poor.
And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
No more money, loose change, or even swiping a card to pay for lunch. Now all kids in Bossier Parish will need is to wave their hand. KSLA News 12's Sasha Jones is in the Alert Center. She has the very latest on this new technology and what it means for students. Sasha.
Dominique school board leaders say this new technology will make it faster, safer, and easier for kids to pay for lunch. Parents, however, are not easily convinced. Some parents say the system is an invasion of their kids' privacy. In less than 5 seconds, Bossier students will slide right through the lunch line.
Sometimes they say they don't have much time at all. Sometimes they get 10, 15 minutes.
But this new technology promises to fix this. Apollo Elementary parent Long Win says lunchtime is also crunch time for his 2 kids. He says students are racing against the clock to move through the line and eat with speed. But soon all Bossier Parish school cafeterias will have a palm scanner.
And there's no risk of personal information being shared.
The scanner uses infrared laser to map out each student's vein coordinates and stores the data. The scan will help move the line faster and get some students at tables quicker. Today in training, Bossier cafeteria workers and I learned just how fast it really is.
Come and scan their hand.
Over here at Yahoo News, interesting article of microchips that will be implanted into healthy people sooner than you think. And can you say mark of the beast? Many of you know it's a biblical warning, but you know other people out here just see past it. They're going for the benefits of it, being able to swipe their hand and open doors, open their cars, unlock their phones and their cell phones and stuff, and pull off stuff that other people can't. And other people are seeing this and they want to do it too, because it's now becoming like the cool thing to do. Now what happened in 2009 is a guy injected himself with a chip marked acid under the skin. Now he in turn infected his chip with a virus. And everywhere he went that had a reader to pick up on this device, he was passing along that virus. He was spreading the virus from the chip in his hand into other electronic devices. Can you believe that? This is what this guy was doing. Computers at work, people's phones, all kinds of other things, anything that was picking up this device, he was infecting.
One of them is the mechanical mismatch between humans and electronics, right? So electronics are boxy and rigid, humans are curvy and soft. That's a mechanical mismatch problem. Well, a researcher at the University of Illinois, his name is Dr. Rogers, what he discovered is that he could use standard CMOS techniques to make islands of high-performance silicon connected by accordion-like structures that would allow it to stretch up to 200% and still be performing. And what he did is he founded a company and they started making electronic tattoos. So I'm wearing one here on my arm.
Do we have a camera to get a...
This is a developmental system made by MC10. And it has an antenna and some sensors embedded in it. And what we plan to do is work with them to advance a tattoo that could be used for authentication. Now, it may be true that 10 to 20-year-olds don't want to wear a watch on their wrist, but you can be sure that they'll be far more interested in wearing an electronic tattoo, if only to piss off their parents. Right?
And that can have a design, right?
Sure.
They would certainly want some kind of cool
Options. And that's something that you wear, but you could also imagine including authentication in just your daily habits. So I take a vitamin every morning. What if I could take vitamin authentication?
What?
Vitamin authentication. Look, I have one right here. Well, here, I'll let you hold it. Would you like to hold it?
I'll hold it.
Okay. So this,
You guys see it?
this pill has a small chip inside of it with a switch. It also has what amounts to an inside-out potato battery. When you swallow it, the acids in your stomach serve as the electrolyte, and they power it up, and the switch goes on and off. And it creates an 18-bit ECG-like signal in your body, and essentially your entire body becomes your authentication token. Yes, this is true. Okay?
Okay, but
Okay, so wait. So it's really true. So what this means is that becomes my first superpower. I really want this superpower. It means that my arms are like wires, my hands are like alligator clips. When I touch my phone, my computer, my door, my car, I'm authenticated in. First superpower. Like, I want that.
So we're not shipping that right away.
Yeah, no. We're not shipping that right away. But it sounds like...
This is FDA cleared?
So here's the thing. This is not science fiction. This pill was actually made by a company called Proteus, and they've developed it for medical applications. That pill has been CE stamped and cleared by the FDA. You can take 30 of those per day for the rest of your life.
and then what happens? Does your heart beat change? Does your
We can just tell that you've taken the pill.
In the last 40 years, we have not changed how we unlock our devices, even though their usage has significantly increased. An average user unlocks their phone 39 times a day, and it takes them 2.3 seconds every time they do so. It is so cumbersome that more than 50% of users do not lock their phones, exposing their personal data to theft. So we started working on making it easier for people to unlock their phones. Your phone is personal to you, so how you access it should be personalized to your style. Last year, we launched Skip, a wearable clip to unlock your Moto X. Now we are excited about a new wearable. It's a digital tattoo from VivaLink.
We worked with Motorola to make a digital tattoo. It's easy to put on and lasts for 5 days. Whether you take a shower or exercise, you don't have to worry about it. It goes where you go. We combine materials from flexible electronics industry with the leading edge of RF engineering to make the ultra-thin digital tattoo that is so comfortable that you barely notice. We also work very closely with the top designers in the world, including Ideal, to make a tattoo that looks beautiful and is easy to use. No fumbling, no typing, just tap.
Microchip to be. The CSIRO is using them to track the insect's movements. The devices are tiny and they are all around you in their billions. Chances are you're carrying a couple of RFID microchips now, and if you are, they're sending out a 15-digit number that identifies you. That number can be picked up by what's called an ISO compliant scanner, and they're everywhere too. The chips are embedded in credit cards, Mikey cards, and the swipe cards that let people into their office buildings. They're used to track manufactured goods in factories and stores, identify livestock and lost pets. And now RFID microchips like this are being injected into humans. Dr. Mark Gasson of the University of Reading in England was injected with one in 2009 to control electronic devices in his office. He later became the first human in history to be infected with a computer virus.
When the systems read my tags, the computer virus has actually appeared throughout the whole database. So it's actually replicated itself and copied it throughout the database.
The microchip implants are coated with a biocompatible material that enables them to bond with the surrounding flesh and sinew. That keeps them in place, but makes their surgical removal difficult and painful. Companies in America have marketed human microchips for security or medical purposes, but most microchipped humans are amateurs who have injected themselves, or who have convinced their family doctor to do it for them. They call themselves biohackers, and they use the chips to open doors or unlock their cars, phones and computers with a simple wave of their hand. Some biohackers go even further by also injecting themselves with self-made devices that enable them to pick up electromagnetic waves.
I want to see if I can't make the human evolve faster than what nature has allowed it to be.
Science is now challenging the very idea of what it means to be human. British cybernetics professor Kevin Warwick has an electronic device in his body that interfaces with his nervous system and is now working on implants that will enable humans to communicate just by thinking.
It will be brain to brain. That's the next step. That's what I'm working on now. Thought communication.
Having an electronic implant might seem too painful or weird to even contemplate, but scientists like Warwick and Gasson say that view will change dramatically. Forget mobile phones, your children and grandchildren may well want an implant instead.
It's not possible to interact in society in a meaningful way by not having a mobile phone. I think human implants are likely to go along a very similar route. It would be such a disadvantage to not have the implant that it essentially becomes not optional.
For overcoming less than desirable situations, mind over matter. And for 23-year-old quadriplegic Ian Burkhart, that's exactly what had to be done. Burkhart became paralyzed after a 2010 diving accident, but now Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center has just had a breakthrough discovery that may help many quadriplegics across the globe. They were able to get Ian Burkhart to move his hand with the power of thought. Doctors, neuroscientists, and engineers from Battelle were able to implement cutting-edge technology by installing a chip directly into Ian's brain.
Installing a chip directly into Ian's brain.
Dr. Ali Reza installed the chip in the area of the brain that controls the movement of the hand. Engineers at Battelle developed software, algorithms, and a sleeve which transmits thoughts and neurons from the brain directly into the arm in less than 1/10 of a second. The signals are then taken from the chip and bypass the injury in the spinal cord, linking the signals directly to the muscles in the arm. Other technologies used in the past have been robotics, exoskeletons, or computers to move muscles, but this is the first using just the power of thought.
Just the power of thought.
Pretty cool.
Jones, KSLA News 12.
And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name.
I've said it before, I will say it again. We can't balance the budget on the backs of the very people who have borne the biggest brunt of this recession. Everyone's going to have to chip in. Everyone's going to have to chip in.
First superpower, like I want that.
But, you know, the whole move of these implants, there are a couple of stupid companies like the Verichip Corporation, with all its various names, that come out and say, oh, well, we want to sell this as a product. I don't think it's going to happen that way. People don't want an ID microchip. But if you turn around and instead say, you'll be able to listen to music and access Facebook and you know, get your email through this little implant, you're going to have a stampede of people wanting to do it. Because